You're live.
All right, thank you. Welcome everyone to the January 5th NSA Ad Hoc meeting. Unfortunately, my camera is not working tonight, but I can still share my screen. So I'm going to briefly go over the timeline where we're at. Apologies, I'm a little under the weather. But tonight's January 5th, we're going to go over the CMC statement that's going to be voted on by the full commission this Thursday at our general meeting. And there's a little bit more input that we'll discuss on Thursday that I just will present to the rest of the commission on uh, whether or not we want to include that or not when we vote. That's all. With that, let's see, as you can see here on the timeline, can everyone see my screen? Is this big enough? January 5th, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then we're going to have another two more NSA ad hoc meetings after this, before the actual case management conference on the 27th. And then there's some other milestones on here about submitting the CMC statement to the city attorney's office, which is going to be no later than January 13th. And then after that, the CMC statement will be officially submitted. There's a possibility that between then and what we vote on, that additional things are added, depending on any other additional input we get from the community, say, for example, at Thursday's meeting. But the version that we're going to go over tonight, as well as the other additions that Director Lawson submitted earlier today, are more than likely going to be the bulk of the statement, pretty much done. And then after it's submitted to the city attorney's office to be included in their agenda package for the court, we have a couple more meetings to prepare for what we're actually going to talk about, or what the chair is going to present to the judge during the case management conference in terms of what he will say, if that's helpful to him. And we're also proposing to move the January 19th meeting to the 20th due to Martin Luther King Day. I believe we talked about that earlier, but we just need to reconfirm that that Tuesday, the 20th, works for everyone. Excuse me. So with that, this is the statement we're going to review. I'll make this a little bit bigger. And thank you, Director Lawson, for your additional input. I appreciate everyone for continuing to go over and think of what else can make the statement better.
I'm sorry I didn't get that to you earlier, but some of the newer stuff, the newer hires really happened at the end of last year. So the new investigator, he just agreed to come last weekend. Last weekend. We've just confirmed the start date for our project manager is this later this month.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, no, that's fine. I know that there's a lot going on with the holidays as well, so I appreciate you being on top of it. So that before we get to that input, there were a couple of
I
other
do have a
small.
question, Commissioner Farmer. I have a question relative to what was actually posted. It was the information that was sent by Katina for after your 17th meeting. This is information that came after that. Is that what I'm
Yeah, so
understanding? Okay, and I talked to her about that as well. If there's anything that comes out of this meeting or even anything you want to mention that the commissioners can talk about, then she said it's okay for us to submit what we had and then just make those correcting those additions on the dais on the 8th
right,
to
yeah,
be added.
right, and that's what we were saying that any input provided by members of the ad hoc or the commission or the public on the 8th, we can incorporate that into the statement or get that
Mhm.
input to Katina to update the statement moving forward, just like Director Lawson has done here. That's
Yeah. Okay,
exactly
perfect.
correct. So Director Lawson, to our last meeting was December 15th. So he took, and then the last statement That's why it's dated the 17th. So Director Lawson took that December 17th dated statement and added this additional information. So this first um, question or comment that he made here on page 2, this appears to be an incomplete sentence. Let's see what this is all about. Despite public concerns that OPD policing practices targeted residents of certain races, until recently, department policy addressing racial profiling was severely outdated, having sat untouched for well over a decade. Responsible for program and performance-based audits, evaluations, and inspections. Yeah, I agree
The
with you.
sentence. Yeah. Something's missing in the second sentence.
Yeah, or maybe they meant. Yeah, we'll just have to point that out to Katina um, to clean that up. But thank you for pointing that out. And those are the kind of things that we'll have to point out maybe throughout or just look through the statement and see if there's anything else like that. So there's that comment. And then that was on page 2. And then page 5, we have this comment. CPRA continues to tackle issues to design, enhance its ability to hold accountable. Yeah, I don't know what is trying to be said here. This is the CPRA section about your work. CPRA is Oakland's go-to agency to guard against the unmistakable conflict of interest associated with having the Department of Police itself. CPRA investigate, maybe we want to say CPRA investigates allegations of misconduct by sworn OPD officers involving use of force in custody deaths, profiling, and First Amendment assemblies. CPRA continues to tackle issues. Maybe it's supposed to say CPRA continues to tackle issues designed to enhance its ability to hold accountable any officer or department leader.
That's what I assumed, but I wasn't sure, so I just highlighted it.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just share that with Katina and see what she says about that. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, and then we'll get to the bulk of the other feedback. And this is this is still the CPRA section, I believe. Yeah, still section 3. Section 3, page 6. Has anyone else joined us? I'm just double checking. I see the chair there. Thank you for being here. All right, so we just went over a couple of things that Director Lawson pointed out. I'm not sure if you heard that conversation. Maybe you did. Okay. So now we're going to go over this other feedback. Excuse me. This other feedback that he provided in the CPRA section. All right. And we'll start down here. Actually, Director Lawson, why don't you take us through this?
What I did is kind of updated our new hiring. So where it says at the sentence that starts, these include, well, I'll go over the sentence before. The new mayoral administration has, however, more than doubled CIPRA's budget, allowing the agency to begin recruiting and hiring new staff. These include a project manager, and then I put in manage the retention and reporting on complaint-related data. That's one of the primary jobs of our project managers, to create a better database system and to manage that information for reporting out. And then it went on to continue to assume IAB transition tasks, manage the new mediation program, and to decrease the time for completion of OPD's scale review process for officers on admin leave. Then the rest I added the next portion, which the new project manager would join CIPRA in mid-January 2026. Additionally, CIPRA has hired a supervisory complaint investigator, CI3, and 3 permanent line investigators, CI2. By February of this year, CIPRA staff will consist of 13 full-time employees, two complaint investigator threes, 4 complaint investigator twos, 3 intake specialists, 1 admin analyst, 1 project manager, 1 staff attorney, and the executive director. CIPRA also posted a request for proposal in December 2025 to engage outside counsel to assist with staff training and conducting complex investigations. In response to the RFP, SIPRA has identified 2 firms that it intends to retain for those purposes. And finally, SIPRA will seek to retain additional complaint investigators in 2026. So those are the additions I made.
All right, great. Thank you very much. And thank you for the updates to the people unable to join the meeting, Micah. Now, thank you for adding that detail. That's good to know. All these updates to your staffing. It's very important information. I don't have any feedback for you. I think that we should include this, and at Thursday's meeting, I'll read out this information to the rest of the commission so they know that we're proposing to include this as well. Anyone else have any questions or comments about this? Ricardo, you good? Okay. All right, so I think right now we're going to include this. Obviously, it's good information. Everyone needs to know this. And I think that's it. That was the only other input for the CMC statement. And I know I didn't get a chance to finish, finish watching our last ad hoc meeting. But one thing that we had talked about including that wasn't there yet is in there now, which is I'm trying to find it. It was just stating how we built upon, here it is, building upon a foundation established by prior commissioners and members of the public. So that suffices what we're trying to communicate. Just be inclusive of everybody and be crystal clear about that. So, any other questions or comments about anything else in the document? Do we need to go over any sections? Do we want to go over this Ensuring Commission Stability section again? Anyone have anything to say about that, or?
I have no comments. I read it up earlier today, and whatever comments, the few comments I had, I gave to you earlier today.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add about this. We've gone over this section in detail for like the past month, and we went over the conclusion section, I thought, pretty well. And everything before that is pretty straightforward. The Inspector General section, or not, maybe not section, but the part where he provided some input and stuff. He hasn't gotten back to us and said that he wants to change or update anything. Micah, have you heard from Inspector General Maloof?
I pinged him to see if he was coming, but I haven't gotten a response yet.
Okay. Well, will he be at the meeting on Thursday?
I don't know. He's not scheduled to actually provide a presentation until the 22nd. So I don't know if he's coming or not.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Are you, Director Lawson, are you going to be there on Thursday?
Meeting from Thursday, I have to meet with the commission in closed session, but I'm not
Mhm.
presenting until the following meeting on the
The
26th.
22nd. It's the 27th, second, right? Oh, am I
22nd.
off?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Am I crazy? Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Him
All
and
right.
Malu and Zervan are presenting at the same meeting,
Got it.
which is the 22nd. Mhm.
Okay. All right. So let's just go over. I don't have anything else for the CMC statement. Nothing to add. There's no reason just to keep going over it.
Yeah, I think the only thing, Commissioner Farmer, that I would add, there's going to be a couple of things that will probably get accomplished in our first meeting in January. We're taking a vote on the DGO revised policy of the M4.1 notifications, and that's something that the judge and the city wanted to see done before. So that I know the city was really trying to fast track the revisions and trying to get it to us before we see the court, before we return to the court. So that's something that we'll vote on, and if we pass, then that's something that we'd want to include in this statement in terms of some of one of the recent policy revisions that we've helped support. And then the other the other big priority for the city and for that ad hoc group, and they thought would be important to have solidified before we go in front of the court again, was moving forward with the permanent appointment of the CPRA director.
Mhm.
So we're in the process of doing that, and I think we should have more solid updates to be able to go, if not completely public, enough to be able to include something in the CMC statement that references that we're at either, publicly announce it, or at least say that we're very close to being at the finish line. And then we're just working out those last steps. So those are the only two things that I think would be important to add, because the city and the court felt that those two things were important in terms of like some tangible wins that the commission is moving forward.
Mhm.
But they're not going to be solidified like, until the 11th hour, until our next meeting. So
So,
just thoughts about that, and where you guys think we should maybe include that. But that's definitely something that'll be discussed on Thursday to be able to add as like a friendly amendment to this document.
okay, then we can add the point about the policy to here to this section too. More than likely, this is where we talked about the policy work. So that's good information to know. Thank you for sharing that. Um, and then I guess we can discuss as a group where to put the other information. Micah, do you have a question or a
I have
comment?
a question for Chair. Chair, you were mentioning that you also wanted to talk to people about whether you wanted to include the reports. Do you still want to do that?
Thank you. Thanks for the reminder, Micah. Yeah, there was also a suggestion. I can't remember if it came from the public. I don't know. I talked to Vice Chair about it before, and she couldn't make it. I saw that you saw that in the chat. She couldn't make it today. But we also thought that it would be good to include. It would be good to include the most recent annual reports from OPC, CPRA, and IG's office, just so that the court could really get just a granular look of all the things that we accomplished throughout the year. And I know they're a little outdated, and we're catching up on kind of past ones, so they're not like super up to date. But I think it's still whatever our most recent ones are for each of those offices. I think we should probably include as well, just as attachments.
As attachments, got it. Okay.
So
All
when we
right.
finally send it over to, if everybody's in agreement, if all the commissioners are in agreement of that, I was going to bring that up. And if the ad hoc's in agreement of that, then we could, when we send it to OCA, we could also send those as attachments to include with our CMC report.
Yeah, that sounds good. Where do you want to include those? Like at the end here, something like that? I mean,
Well, I think the way they're formatted, they're probably just going to have to be additional, like addenda.
Like an
but you want wait,
appendix items or
Yeah, there you
something.
go.
but do you mean a link to them, correct?
Oh, I guess we could have a live link. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand. You mean like you were proposing like every page of it, of all those documents, like of our annual report, like every page?
Well, if we submit this electronic copy to OCA, and initially I was just thinking also submitting 3 electronic versions of our reports. So essentially
Mhm.
we'd be sending OCA 4 documents. If it's easier to create live links in this document that links to those electronic versions, then I suppose that could be sufficient. That could
Yeah.
suffice as well.
Yeah,
And that's not a problem. You guys can put it at the end like an appendix or supporting materials or something like that. And then I can prepare the links for Katina to add to the document.
yeah, because I think if we included it like every page of all those documents, I agree that it's good information for the court, but those would kind of drown out this report itself. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That would
Yeah.
be like 3 other reports on top of the CMC statement.
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
And it's a lot. It's a lot and
Of
cumbersome.
information.
So that definitely makes sense. So we can just do the links. That's fine
Okay. All right.
if you
And
all
then,
agree.
because we're already, this statement itself is already going to be included as in the appendix of like their package going to the court. Is that correct? Do we know that? I believe I heard Katina say that maybe that it was going to be like in the appendix or something. Remember we talked about that? Like it wasn't included along with.
Oh, and so last time what happened, it was included as, I guess, an attachment, right? Or, a separate entity along with the other groups who were submitting something to the judge, opposed to being woven in or consolidated in the actual report from the city. So I think that's what they're talking about. That's how it happened last time. And we were pushing to have it as part of the overall submission from the city, but I'm not sure what Katina confirmed, whether we could do that or not, or whether it will again be a document that's separate.
Yeah, that's what I was, the attachment section. It
Mhm.
has been included as a non-attachment before, but this
Yep,
past
last year.
they put it as an attachment. I think one other time they put it as an attachment. So all I'm saying is that if we have attachments along with our CMC statement, I don't
It's
want
a
that
lot of
to turn
dots,
into a
is what you're
statement.
saying.
All right, so the links, we'll figure out the best place to put those in the CMC statement. Did you catch the discussion about the timeline, Ricardo?
I caught the end of it.
Here, let's just look at it really quick so we
Thanks.
don't
Appreciate it.
So here we
And
go.
as you're going through that, Commissioner Farmer, it's going to be a lot easier for everyone because I went through that information you walked through and sent everybody calendar invite reminders for each of those dates.
All right, thank you for being on top of that.
Mhm.
So after tonight, we have our meeting to vote on the CMC statement, and then we have next Monday's ad hoc meeting where we can discuss any additional input that we receive at the meeting on the 8th, and go over that final version that's going to be basically submitted to the city attorney's office the following day on January 13th. And then for the next ad hoc meeting, we're proposing to move it to January 20th because that following Monday is MLK Day. And at that meeting, we can discuss CMC talking points. If that's helpful to you, Chair, we can do that. We can do that on the 20th and on the 26th, which is the night before the case management conference. So that was our game plan for from now up until the actual conference. You still want to do that CMC talking points discussion? Is that helpful? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
no, that's helpful.
And can you make it on the 20th instead of the 19th?
Yeah.
Director Lawson, can you make it then as well?
I believe so. Let me check my calendar, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Micah, does that work for you?
It does.
All right,
It
great.
works for me.
Okay, perfect. So, Micah, if you can put out in your next email to the group about moving the meeting from the 19th to the 20th, just to confirm that everybody can make it, or at least the majority of us can make it. Um, and then that's that. I don't have anything else for tonight. Is there anyone here from the public?
I don't think so. No one. No.
Okay. Any other final comments or questions from anyone?
No.
No, thank you for leading this work, though, man. I think it's a really good document. I feel good about it. You know, in addition to the talking points, feel real comfortable just in terms of what we're messaging to the court. So it'd be good just to recap, get on the same page. That I feel more comfortable about it. But yeah, man, just appreciate everybody's work here and your work too, Chair Farmer. So appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I think after this next CMC, um, instead of focusing solely on the CMC statement for the next CMC, let's get back to the um, what's it called, the OPD template and the KPIs and that stuff, and set a deadline for finalizing that stuff, and then we can get to the CMC statement. I think that'll help us be a little bit more productive with this ad hoc overall. You know.
Sounds good.
All right. All right. That's all I have. I'm gonna go take
Thanks.
some medicine. I will see you all
Yeah.
on Tuesday.
Take
Bye.
care. Get well. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Take care, everyone.